Welcome everyone, I'm Tom Murphy and this is Trinidad Now on Trinidad Times TV. Welcome back. It's been a little while since I've done a show like this. Today we are in beautiful downtown Trinidad in the historic Chappelle House. It was built in 1886 and with me today is Dan Ruscetti. Let me put his name up here since I'm doing the graphics and everything today. Dan is running for city council. He's a lifelong, probably Trinidad resident.
Yes, sir.
Dan, thank you for joining us today.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you doing this.
All right. Well, I'm one of those people that think that government, especially local government, is someplace where we can really make a difference. And you being a longtime city employee and putting your hat in the ring for city is very important because it affects our day-to-day lives in the city. And so Dan, I'm going to tell people what I did is I showed you the questions ahead of time.
Yes, sir.
And my goal is to ask all the candidates the same questions. And so you haven't had a lot of prepare time to prepare. Sorry, stuttering over myself. I need to slow down because this is the first show I've done in a little while. Anyway, so all candidates will be given the same questions, but we won't release this until everybody's been interviewed, or at least we've attempted to interview anybody.
I understand.
So getting started with that, Dan, let's just jump into the first question. Why are you running for city council?
I guess being a lifelong resident, working for the city for 29 years, I know a lot about the city, what goes on, and I really think I could benefit by being on the council. And with the new changes at the city that's happening, I think it's going to be a really positive solution for Trinidad. And we have to move in a different direction we've been moving because myself, I don't think we're going anywhere and we need to get going.
Right. So this is a little bit of a follow-up. What is your most valuable experience that you're bringing to the table, and how will this experience benefit the city?
Well, I get there again, working for the city 28 years. I worked in the coal mines. I worked in the gas field. The only industry that was booming was marijuana that I didn't work in.
Right.
I did have the first license at the time, but then when they opened it up, I let it go. I'm just here to help myself, my family, and try to better Trinidad. And I really think I could do that with the knowledge I have in Trinidad.
Okay. How will you balance the needs of all the constituents, including longtime residents, transplants, working class adults, families, ranchers, farmers, youth, etc.?
Well, I've been doing that all my life. Working for the city, I had a balance with everybody. I was an outfitter for 30 years, so I balanced with the people out in the county. My wife and I were very active in AYSO, the youth program back when it started, youth bowling, and we're always here wanting to give back to the community.
Okay. How will you deal with inter-council conflicts, council-citizen conflicts, and what does conflict resolution look like to you?
Well, you're going to have conflict in everything you do. No matter what you do, there's going to be conflict. And I think the major thing that, as for right now, and you know it and I know it because I go to most of the council meeting, we're talking about the homeless quite a bit. And everybody's talking about it, but there's really nobody's come up with a solution. And I think that's the biggest part is communication and talking with each other and trying to come up with a solution to the problem.
So Dan, in preparing for this, that's the one question I slipped my mind. So let's delve into that a little bit deeper, and I'll put this in with the other people too. But the homeless, I'm surprised that I forgot, but I was busy doing other things. The homeless probably is the most inflammatory issue that we have right now. That's okay. So, I mean, what do you think the city has done in the past? What is it doing presently, and what do you think we can do in the future? Do you have any ideas?
You know, I got a couple ideas. As we all know, homelessness it's not something you choose. It's something that happens. And we all know a lot of the people that we're talking about are not homeless, but they have addiction. And that is something you could choose
Right.
to have or not. And Trinidad does not have any help for people with addiction or problems. And I think that's the first step, is trying to find help, offer them help, and see if you got to look for solutions to the problem.
Right.
Right now, I know they're upset because they feed them, which is great. You're helping them out, but you're not helping the problem. It's just bringing it. We got to find solutions, and I think it's finding people help. And if they don't want help, then I don't know what to say. I mean, what do you do with people that don't want to help?
Well, what do you think of the most recent ordinance of the camping ban?
The camping ban, being a city employee, I was in charge of the parks. Mm-hmm. So let me tell you, the restrooms, they throw shirts down, they throw sweaters down, shoes down, they defecate on the walls, everywhere else. And the problem with this is, it's not every homeless person. They say one bad apple will ruin a bushel.
Right.
We got to find out the bad apples. You get rid of them, and I think that's going to have a great solution on this.
I'm going to stay on this topic just a little bit.
No problem.
How do we get rid of it? It's like, I don't even want to say, I don't mean what I'm saying, get rid of them.
Right.
That's not what we mean.
No, what we're saying is get them out of the public areas that they're destroying.
Right.
If you could get the people that aren't destroying it. And let me tell you a little story here. It was Kit Carson Park, and somebody went in the restrooms, tore the sinks off the walls, started the restrooms on fire. Everybody thinks it was homeless.
Right.
It was a 13-year-old junior high girl.
Oh my.
That did this.
Right.
And one of her friends, I knew the little girl, turned her in. And I felt so great that this little girl told me who did it.
Right.
But the problem is not always the homeless.
Right. I just think I've helped homeless through the years here and employ them, but I just think bathroom facilities, if you were out there, boy, that would be priority number one.
It is.
It's warmth.
It is.
Food.
You think that's the main thing they would take care of.
Right.
Would be the restrooms. But everybody knows during COVID we put porta potties at Chimino, and they destroyed them so bad the company would not bring a porta potty back.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is there a solution?
I don't believe there is. I think getting them help, mental help,
right,
is a start.
Right.
And getting them to accept it.
Well, I think then you can see too. I mean, this is not an easy.
No, it's not.
For the city council, and I know that they've got it on both sides.
It's
people that want to help them,
right?
And people it's like we're tired of and paying the money.
I mean, I have my wife and I have the mail order store on Arizona.
Right.
Well, one thing with a homeless person, if you want to do anything, you got to have a physical address.
Right.
They could come to our place and get that with one of their boxes, which we call a suite. And we've had multiple that have come. They've gotten their address. They've gotten a job. They've gotten housing. I help a gentleman clean the snow at Walmart. He has the contract for that. I've watched 3 different people come out of Walmart store, because we do it through the whole night. They'll come out at 11 o'clock at night with their Walmart vest on, get in their car. I think they're going home. They're living in their car in Walmart parking lot. Oh. Some of these people are trying.
Right.
Every hour they start it up to stay warm.
Right.
There, like I said, there's a big difference to being homeless and being a person with a problem with an addiction.
Do you think, Dan, it might help if, with you at the mail store, certainly you could identify a lot of them. And I know they did, in the last year, they identified and numbered approximately at that time. Of course, it fluctuates, I'm sure, day to day. But do you think identifying who they are and trying to help them might be part of the solution? I'm kind of getting off track with my regular questions.
No,
but
that's fine.
I think this topic is...
Sure.
I want to explore it because I don't have the answers either.
Me neither. I'm just thinking of other things, identifying them. And if you remember right, the lady that was doing that, there was 4 or 5 that didn't even want to be identified.
Right.
They wouldn't even give them any information. We had our local back years ago that lived in the river. The gentleman never caused a single problem in Trinidad.
Right.
He was fine. Everybody knew him as Catman.
Right. Oh, all right. Yeah.
You know, I had one that was living, he was staying by the gas shop off of Linden. And his camp, you could eat off of the ground at his camp. That gentleman, we didn't make him leave.
Right.
You gotta do your part also. I think if we could get them to take care of things, we wouldn't have a problem.
Right. Okay. Well, we veered off.
Okay, no problem. We could get back on stuff.
But no, this is the way I want the interview to go.
Sure.
It's like I've given you the questions, but if we find a topic that we want to expand on, let's do that.
No problem.
So, and I'm going to give you that opportunity at the end to talk about whatever you want.
Sure.
So, but it's just been, I'm a little bit rusty. So people that are watching, I haven't done an interview in a little while, so I'm trying to.
This is my first one too, so.
All right. It's just conversation with you and
That's
I.
it.
That's all that it is. So moving on, question number 5. What does government transparency mean to you?
It's the whole thing. Transparency is number one, and as you know, I've been going to almost every council meeting for the last 2 years.
Right.
And I've come up with a couple things that the city was not transparent on.
Right.
And I called them on it and got things changed. Transparency is number one. And if you're transparent, then you have nothing to hide.
Right. Well, I'm going to toot my own horn here, but I've been filming them for 20 years. Mm-hmm. So, and for that reason is to provide transparency.
Exactly.
And I think that people showing up and holding their feet to the fire is what we need to do in government, in a democracy.
And one thing, me working for the city prior to this,
right,
I knew how employees at the city worked.
Right.
So I kind of knew what I was looking for, and that's what I was bringing to city council. Right. People thought I was going against the city.
Right.
I was not. I was being transparent.
Right.
For the people of Trinidad.
Right.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. I know you angered some people, but the way things are going in our country now, how can you not speak out and anger somebody?
Exactly. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you do, somebody's.
I could guarantee you, every person I angered, they're going to remember my name.
There's something to be said for name recognition.
Exactly.
So, okay, moving forward, we're going to ask a couple more questions and then we'll take a short break. I don't know if I'm moving too fast.
No, that's fine.
There's no rush, and so people that are watching, there's no time constraint. The interview will go as long as we need to. And so, anyway, the next question is, what are your top 3 project priorities? Capital improvements, programming, adjusting at City Hall, etc.
Priorities. Infrastructure is always on there, but it takes a lot of money for infrastructure. My number one goal is to get people to Trinidad. We got to figure out, I know tourism is a big part of helping out Trinidad, but it's not going to save Trinidad. And I've talked to a couple other people running for council, is how do we get businesses? We need people. With people, then it helps our schools. Right. It helps hospitals. It helps everybody out. The way I look at tourism, it helps restaurants, gas stations, motels.
Right.
My wife and I owned a trash company for 10 to 12 years. Tourism never helped a trash company.
Right.
It never helped an electrician.
Right.
But when you get people coming in, when you have more people, then you have more electricians, more plumbers, which I think is another big deal, is vocational in our schools. If we could get vocational, a lot of kids out there, get them away from their computers, their phone, and get them some vocational skills, I think one day they're going to pass up the computer geeks myself. So.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's if we more of us had known that being an electrician and a plumber and
Exactly.
the trades were paying what they pay now,
Yes.
might have made a different career choice back in the day.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
in tourism, Dan, maybe you didn't follow this too much, but what do you think of the change from the tourism board to the lodgers tax? I'm kind of veering off just because you brought it.
Sure.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
The lodging tax, if people don't know it, it's not doing it quite as well as people were hoping.
Right.
And the tourism board, they've always for years have fought on this tourism board and lodging tax and whatnot. Have you ever heard the expression, too many chiefs and not enough Indians?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what we have now. With our new city manager, I think if she dedicates where the money's going to go and how it's going, it's going to make a big difference.
Okay. Well, since you're a lifelong resident, and you're a hunter, and now the peak is a park. What do you think of our natural resources that we have here that would bring tourists in? I guess really the question is, what did you think of converting the peak into a park?
Well, myself, this is my own. I didn't like it, but I roamed that whole mountain. I've been over every inch of it. It's great having it a state park. It can never be developed. But we're talking 50,000 acres. Only 1,000 acres is open to the public.
Right.
Let's open it up. I mean, I think there's so many resources that could be done. I mean, my wife and I, we cannot hike to the top. Our age has got us, our health. How can people like that get to the top? Well, there's a road to the top. People don't know that, but yes, there's a road that goes all.
Those are secrets we want to probably keep secret. I might have to mute this out. We don't edit anything, don't worry.
Okay, but I mean, how do you make everyone happy? I did this when I ran for mayor 2 years ago. ATVs and all-terrain vehicles is a big, big deal in Colorado.
Right.
How many ATVs and UTVs do you see at Walmart going down the highway? You got 50,000 acres, designate something in one corner of it for that.
Right.
And I really think that'd help.
Okay.
And, if you remember back when the dam used to hold quite a bit of water,
Mm-hmm.
people from Pueblo would come down to go water skiing.
Right.
Colorado Springs from Angel Fire would come up. I mean, that place, if we could figure out how to get more water in that dam to stored,
Right.
I mean, we did great back then.
Well, I got here in the early '80s and windsailing.
Windsurfing.
Windsurfing, and that was a big deal.
Yes.
And I know, as you said, fishing. Actually, I guess the fishermen that know, it's actually a pretty hot.
It's
fishing
one of the
spot.
hot spots. Yes.
And it's not talked about, or a lot of us don't know that. I'm not a
Right.
fisherman, but I've heard.
I'm not a big fisherman, but there's so many different species in that dam that it's for everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's.
And as a matter of fact, my home where I grew up is underneath that dam. I was
Soapers?
a Sopris boy. So
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. So when did the dam go up, in the late 60s, early 70s?
70s.
70s, early
Yes.
70s?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Were you guys still living?
Yes,
in there? And
we
then
were
moved
one
you
of the
out?
last families. My mom was one of the last ones to move. She was one of those that the government's not going to make us move, and you don't do that with the government. So.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, where did I leave off? Let's see. How do you see a city council helping to secure proper funding for the city to address its infrastructure needs. Actually, I think I asked that a little bit earlier, but we'll cover it again. The programming, did I ask this already?
No.
Okay, the programming needs and special need project needs. Sorry, again, I'm a little rusty.
No problem. Again, going back to infrastructure, we had the raises of all our utility rates, which it's pretty hard for everyone in Trinidad to, take care of things. Jobs, good paying jobs. If we get those, then you could raise your rates. I mean, the landfill, when we had the trash company and they raised their rates, of course, we had to raise our rates.
Right.
And people don't understand, even when the price of gas goes up, that raises the rates on everything.
Right.
Everything. And we just need some good paying jobs in Trinidad and create some taxing that we could have money for infrastructure.
Right. Taxing, if we were to do that to address infrastructure needs, I know I've been to a lot of city meetings and they've had 10-year, 5-year plans, 10-year plans, and they've talked about the infrastructure. Since you work for the city, what do you think the state of them? Again, I'm veering off it a little bit
no problem.
Because of your experience, and I'll probably do this with everybody. But what's the state of the infrastructure? Do you think?
Well, it's kind of funny. I don't know. You might have to edit this out too, but it depends who you are and where you're at.
Right.
If the infrastructure gets fixed.
Really?
I mean, yes, sir.
Okay.
I mean, there's a big project coming up. It went out to bid Tuesday night council meeting. We're talking 2 blocks in Trinidad
Right.
of infrastructure, which is great. What's on those 2 blocks?
I don't know.
There's 2 parking lots, a church, and
Okay.
a school.
Okay.
And something that's going to be apartment houses
Right.
down the road. But I mean, is that where you want to put your money?
Right.
I'm very big on paving. We haven't paved in 16, 17 years. They came out with a paving plan this year that's just a joke.
Right.
It comes out to be 1 block of city streets that they're actually
What they're
paving.
gonna do?
Yes.
I kind of remember back in the day they had the equipment and everything.
Right. We used to
they-
pave our own streets. We had our hot plant. The crews used to do that. And when I started at the city, there was 22 guys on the street department.
Right.
There's 6 guys on the street department now.
Okay. That makes a difference.
Exactly.
Is it? Since you were there, is it just a lack of taxes, or are they reallocating the resources?
It's, again, I mean, I might get some people upset. It's people at City Hall making decisions that shouldn't be making decisions.
Right.
Saying you guys are lazy, you're not doing nothing, so we don't need you.
Right.
And getting rid of people.
Right.
So.
Okay. Well, this is our halfway point.
Okay.
And we're gonna mute it and take a short break.
No problem.
So I think this is going well.
Sure.
We're at 23 minutes or 24 minutes, so it's pretty good. And then our audio's back. Sorry, folks, a little bit rusty. We are back. I'm with Dan Ruscetti, City Council candidate. We've done that first half of the questions, and we veered off a little bit, which I'll do with other candidates when they bring up something that I think we need to talk about. I put homeless down, but then I forgot about it, and Dan brought it up, so we figured we'd discuss it. So a little bit out of order. Moving on with the next set of questions, what do you see as the future? Well, we kind of discussed this. Sometimes you touch on these things. What do you see as the future of Trinidad's economy, and what steps would you take to move the city towards that goal during your first 4 years on council? And I know we talked about it with tourism. So.
Right. Tourism's part of it, like I said, and what we got to do as a council is figure out a way to bring businesses to Trinidad. Just my thoughts right now, we have the two new truck stops coming up at exit 18. Right across the street's our industrial park. And if anybody's been out to industrial park, it's not a very pleasant place, inviting place for businesses to go.
Right.
I think let's dress that up, make it inviting for somebody to want to go there.
Right.
And like I say, you're going to have quite a few people taking that exit.
Right.
So let's, that's one thing that could be done is figure out a plan to get our industrial park.
Do you know, Dan, how full is it? I mean, I know at one time when the marijuana first started, I think it kind of filled up, but I don't know the status of it right now.
I'd say about half
Okay.
right now. Santa Isabel moved out. They're building their new place on the east at the drive-in. Who else? I did see Weatherford had a for sale sign on their property now.
Right.
And as far as the marijuana grows go out, I think there's only one company, but they own like 4 or 5 of the places out there.
Okay.
Big, and they're a big company.
Right.
And they're not going anywhere, so they're helping us out quite a bit.
Okay. Economically, this is a little bit veering off. I mean, you've lived here your whole life. Where would you say we are in your lifetime as far as being up and down?
We went when New Mexico started with the marijuana. We headed straight down the roller coaster, and we're almost down to the bottom.
Yeah. Don't you think, though? I mean, I kind of knew that it was inevitable.
Exactly. Everyone did.
Yeah. But don't you think that one of the benefits? I know a lot of people were against marijuana philosophically or for whatever reason. But I'm a building owner downtown, and I know how much it costs to maintain and fix up.
Exactly. So am I.
Don't you think, though? I mean, one of the positives that a lot of these buildings got electrical, plumbing, and other.
They got renovated, and they got where they could be used for something else.
Right.
And I'm sure you've talked to multiple people, and I don't know, what was it, 25, 30 years ago when, oh man, we should have really let gambling come in.
My dad tried. We were,
but I'm
3
saying,
times.
Everybody's, wow, and it's a little late now.
Yeah, we could
Yeah.
My father had history back in South Dakota with Deadwood and the people that started that, and he was very hopeful that would have happened if it would have stayed in the historic district, because it was 3 times it was voted
Exactly. Yeah.
And it changed each time. But
sometimes you do make the wrong decisions.
But Blackhawk and Cripple Creek, they're like, not only no, heck no.
Myself, I really don't think if we had it in Trinidad, it would hurt Blackhawk and Central City.
Right.
They got the population up there.
Yeah.
But what we got to do is talk to the people in Blackhawk and Central City that have the casinos.
Right.
And say, hey, we got 1 million people that travel that highway.
Well, we had the newspaper in Raton, and we were very close to the Racino, the racetrack casino. I mean, that kept us going for a while with the hopes that would come through.
Right.
So the reality is that, as you and I both know, being in a small town business, it's hard, and so we want to, do what we can to bring the economy up.
Right, and that's what I say. It's people like us know that we need people to make our businesses.
Yeah. Well, that's
Cool.
why I'm doing this. I want the best candidates. I
Sure.
want people to know who the candidates are.
Right.
I mean, you're clearly well known, but there's a lot of people, Dan, that have moved here that don't know you.
Sure.
So
Exactly.
I mean, there's been a lot of turnover in Trinidad.
Yes.
So even though with your lifelong roots,
And I think the city needs to come up with an incentive to give a new business. I'll tell you a little story. 20 years ago, I took some Budweiser gentlemen hunting. They were the person that bought out Mitchell-Isa.
okay,
That was in Trinidad. They wanted to build a new warehouse in Trinidad. They asked the city for property at Industrial Park next to the railroad tracks.
right,
City would not work with them.
really,
Well, now when you go to Pueblo and you see that fancy new building,
yeah.
that should have been in Trinidad.
My brother-in-law worked for him.
Yeah,
So
Roy
he
Torch.
he lost his job.
Yeah.
So that's.
You know,
I'm sure
but
there's some skeletons in the closet we all could be like, oh.
yeah, we got to give an incentive. And, you know, as a matter of fact, driving down Main Street last night, the 2 empty buildings in the Commons, what's the story on those 2 buildings?
Right,
Let's get somebody in there, give them 6 months rent-free
right.
to try to get a business going. You're not making anything on them right now, but
You know, I should know this, but do we even have an economic person?
no,
Okay.
no.
I kind of knew that, but I don't pay attention to everything.
And
But
and like I said before, City Hall's getting straightened out.
right,
And we had a lot of good economic development people,
right,
and they got ran out of town. I'm
Right.
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I know what that's like. So maybe we've discussed this too. But the next question is, what is your overall vision for Trinidad for the next 4 years if you're elected?
People, seeing people downtown. You know it, I know it. Come 5 o'clock, you could shoot a cannon down Main Street and not
Yeah.
hurt a fly.
Right,
I want to see it active. I want to see people.
right,
I'd really like to have a store where my wife could go in and buy women's clothing and gentlemen could go in and buy men's clothing.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, this might be a silly question. You've been to Durango, right?
sure.
So when I was getting ready to build the chapel in 1995, that's 30 years ago. It doesn't seem possible, but I went through all these other different funeral homes to view them all through New Mexico, and I went up to Farmington and then up to Durango, and I got to Durango on a Sunday night and got a hotel room and went downtown, and there's people everywhere. It was
Yes.
either 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. I guess I don't understand. I'm putting my opinion out there, not necessarily my opinion, but just
Why? Why are they there?
what we have 10 to 12 million people driving by on the interstate. Why?
And like I said, you know, I've been thinking of this when I decided to run again. We have to have a reason for them to stop.
Right,
And we got to figure out what is that reason.
right.
What's going to draw them off that highway?
Well, I've got something that's going to happen, but I'm not going to tell you about it.
No
now.
problem. Hopefully
So,
it draws them off the highway.
That's my plan.
Okay.
I have some big projects going. What projects and accomplishments of this current council do you see as being the biggest benefits to the city development? And I know you've been critical of some of the projects, but
Yeah.
are some of the projects that they've done been
You
beneficial?
know, there hasn't been, First Street finally got done.
Right,
That was almost done 2 years ago. It finally finished up. Pickleball courts are almost done. Skate park's finally finished.
right,
The thing with projects is one thing that I believe city and city hall, council and city hall don't realize that when they do something, it costs to maintain that deal.
right,
Nobody ever looks at maintenance. 2-3 years ago, they put over $1 million in Southside Park's baseball fields. If you go up there right now, you never know they put $1 million in it.
really,
Other than TSJC's field that they take care of.
right,
It's maintenance. They want to put I don't know, quite a few million in the Riverwalk. Well, they better figure out at least 2 maintenance people year round
Right.
to maintain stuff.
Okay. Okay. That isn't. That's one of the reasons I think that with Sister Blandina, they wanted to give that to the city, and that was one of the council's issues. Is
Maintenance.
it comes with the cost.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
so your experience is going to be very tuned in to anything that
Right. They're looking for someone to maintain the golf or run the golf course, I should say.
right.
And if not, well, maybe the city will take it over. That'd be the worst thing that could happen to this town,
Really,
is if the city took that over. Yes.
because
Maintenance.
maintenance.
There's not enough people to take care of it all.
Right.
I mean, just little facts that people don't know. There's 127 trash cans that got to be emptied in Trinidad. People don't realize that.
Right.
There's 12 restrooms that need to be cleaned every day.
Wow.
Yeah, public restrooms.
Right.
And it takes manpower to do that.
Okay. We're going to get into this last set of questions. We're just going to keep going.
Okay.
Dan, what is your biggest success in life, do you think?
My family. I have a daughter and a son. Unfortunately, they both moved away from Trinidad. But, and my wife, I was, I don't know, I guess, entrepreneur, as you might say. I always tried different businesses, anything. Even now, I am semi-retired, as they say, but I'm still working
Right.
4 to 5 days a week for other people. But I think my biggest success is my wife and family,
Okay.
and raising them the right way.
Cool. And the opposite of that, of course, is we all have failures. What would you say is your biggest failure in life?
I really don't know what my biggest failure was, but I know without failure you don't get anywhere in life.
Yeah.
You got to have failure. That's where you learn your mistakes and you learn not to do it again. And that's something I always did at the city. If I did something wrong, I was the first one to admit it.
Right.
Because nobody wants to take blame for anything. But you know what? You're human. People make mistakes.
Right.
And if you learn not to do it again.
Right.
And I've had many failures. But I really don't think I've had a failure that's taken me down in life.
Right.
I bounced back and took it as a learning moment and moved on.
Cool. So, who are or were your biggest influences in life?
My biggest influence was my mother. My father passed away when I was 18 months old. She was a mother of 4, 12, 8, 6, and 18 months.
Where are you in that order? You the oldest, the youngest?
I'm the youngest. I'm the spoiled brat. I'm the baby.
Okay.
She raised us all by herself and did one hell of a job.
Cool. Excellent. Dan, we're going to wrap this up with one thing. I always, in case I've left anything off the table or on the table, you can look at the camera right over here, and this is your time. Take as long as you want to say whatever you want to wrap it up. And actually, I didn't plan this, but my battery's getting low too. So
Okay.
So it's right there. But this way, it's your show at this point. It's your whatever you want to say.
I just want to say, first of all, I want to thank Tom for doing this. I think it's great. You're probably going to notice you're not going to see a whole bunch of my...
Dan, pause 1 second.
Okay.
I want you to start over because in doing my camera stuff, now I have
Okay.
you. Okay, starting over. Now you can do the camera.
First of all, I want to thank Tom for doing this. It really gets the word out. I didn't really realize how many people watch his city council meetings until they say, I seen you on Tom's show. But I just want to thank everyone. You're not going to see a bunch of my signs, or you might not even see one of my signs out. I figure if you're going to vote for me, I really appreciate it. I really think I could be positive for the city and move the city in the right direction. So come November, I'd really appreciate your vote. Thank you.
And Dan, thank you. I appreciate it again. As I'm going to tell people, I'm a little bit rusty in doing this because I haven't done an interview in a little while. But more important is that as we talked about, you're a lifelong resident, but there's new people in Trinidad, they don't know you.
Exactly.
And that's my goal. We discussed earlier, we don't know a lot of these candidates, and I think that's encouraging. You know, there's some new blood coming into Trinidad, but I thank you very much, and I appreciate you taking your time to do this. And everybody that's watching, my plan is to interview, if not everybody, as many are willing to. And I'm not going to release these until I've interviewed everybody so that it's fair to everybody to answer essentially the same questions. I veered off when some topics came up that I think that are important for us to
Sure.
discuss, but other than that, this is the goal. And my video isn't necessarily level and wonky, but we'll get that fixed too. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I'm Tom Murphy, and this is Trinidad Now,
Thank you, Tom.
sponsored by